Okay, fourth grade. So we have already painted our background for our penguins. Now we need to draw our penguin and cut it out. You're gonna do that with a pencil on your black piece of paper. Just so I can show you a couple different ways you can do your penguin, I'm gonna draw it on this whiteboard. So, for your penguin, you wanna use up most of your paper. I gave you a large paper that's as big as your background because we want your penguin to take up most of the paper. So, keep that in mind when you're drawing him or her. I start with a kind of a rainbow line for the top of his head. If you want both of his arms to be down by his side, you can make kind of a curved line that comes diagonally out from his head like this. So kind of like his arms are coming away from his body. So kind of like that. It looks a little crazy right now. So it's just a slightly curved line that's almost at a diagonal. And then I'm going to curve the line back up and into his body. So it's two curved lines that are going towards each other with a point on the end. You can see it comes back up into his body. Then I'm just going to make this line come down and basically make a big U for the bottom of his body. And that's all you need for your penguin. Now, that's if you want both of his arms to be going straight down. If you want maybe one arm to be going up and one arm to be going down, you start the same with the curved line for the head. If you want one line to be going up or one arm to be going up, you kind of, instead of making your arm come straight down, you make the curved line go up. And if you want, that looks a little silly. If you want, you can leave, kind of make a little curve like that. It's almost like a backwards J before you start that curve going up. So then it's like a little bit of space between his head, and then curve that line back down into his body. If you want to do the other one going down, you make it the same way I showed you the first time. And then you have both of your lines right here, and then the same way to make the bottom of his body, just a big U shape. If you want both arms to be going up, you just do it the same way. So this time you'll make that J, make that curved line that goes up, just slightly curved. So instead of the diagonal coming down like we did when his arms were down, the diagonal is going up. And then I'm going to curve this back down into his body. So that's all you're doing. Decide whether or not you want his arms to be up, he's celebrating, or you want his arms to be down, or maybe one arm is up because he's waving. So those are your options. I'm going to go ahead and draw that out on my paper. I think I'm going to make one arm going up and one arm going down. It's kind of hard to see with my pencil, but I'm going to go ahead and cut it out. Okay, so there is my penguin, and you can see how big he is on my paper. Please, please, please do not make little tiny penguins, because we have this huge background and I want you to fill it up so you can add a bunch of fun details. So there's my penguin. Now I need to start adding all of the details for his body. So I'm gonna get this white paper. I like to kind of lay it on the body so that way I know about how big it needs to be. And I'm just gonna draw kind of an oval shape for his belly. Now I drew it with pencil, so it's kind of hard to see, but it's just an oval. And again, I like to lay it on there so I know just how big it needs to be. If you kind of try to just cut it out, you probably won't like this size. So that's why I like to lay it out and kind of draw it on. Making sure that I always, if I'm drawing something out first, I always want to make sure that when I go to glue it down, that I'm always putting the pencil lines on the back so we never see those pencil lines. And gluing that down in the middle of his tummy. Now he needs some eyeballs. We've learned our trick for eyeballs is to fold a piece of paper in half, so that way you can get two of the exact same size eyeballs. There we go. They're kind of too big, but I kind of like that. Then I'm just gonna use some of the scrap from my black paper that I cut my penguin out of to make the center of his eyeballs. Again, I'm folding it in half so they're the same size. And you can kind of place them however you want. Maybe you want one to be going up and one to be going down because he's making a silly face. Or maybe you want both of them to be right in the middle. Or maybe they're both going up because he's looking up. I like to kind of do it like that. Then I'll have little orange rectangles for you to cut out their beak. I'm gonna do this with the Sharpie so you can see what I'm drawing here. So for their beaks, it's kind of like a rounded triangle. So almost like a candy corn shape where the points of the triangles are rounded. And then I'm gonna cut that out. Well, that's huge. I'm gonna make it a little smaller. Then I've got two little orange squares here. Again, I'm gonna stack them on top of each other because I'm gonna cut out his feet. Now his feet are pretty easy. I'm just gonna make a curved line, like a rainbow line for his feet. Super, super easy. And when I go to glue them down, I'm gonna make sure that they go under his body so it looks a little neater. It looks a little bit sloppy if you try to glue them on top like that. So make sure you kind of tuck them under. Now is the fun part where you get to make them hats and scarves. So I like to lay my paper down on top of my penguin so that way I know exactly how big his hat needs to be. And I'm gonna draw it on top of his head so I know exactly how big it needs to be. I think I'm gonna make him a kind of like a beanie with a puffy ball on top. But this part is kind of fun because it's up to you. You can make whatever kind of wintertime hat you want. Last year I had some friends make Santa hats. So you guys can come up with whatever kind of wintertime hat you want to put on your snowman. So now I'm gonna cut, or not your snowman, your penguin. So now I'm gonna cut this out. And you can see, since I laid it on there, now it's the perfect size for his head. Okay, I'm gonna do the same thing to make him a little scarf. I'm gonna lay it down. And I'm gonna first draw the top of the scarf. And I know that hopefully you can see that. And then I'm gonna draw the bottom of the scarf. But then I want a couple of those scarf pieces to be coming down. Just like that. And again, I laid it on there so I know exactly how wide I need to make it. So there's his little scarf. But what is not as fun is his scarf and his hat are just plain white. So now is the time where you get to kind of make your own designs. So I'm gonna take a Sharpie and I'm going to draw some designs on his hat. I think I want some kind of straight lines. And then I think I want a couple zigzag lines. Okay, and then I think I just want his scarf to be just kind of straight lines. Now you're going to want to color these in before you glue them onto your penguin because it's really hard to try to color them once they're all covered in glue. So go to color them in before you glue them on. I think I want to do red and yellow for his scarf and green and purple and orange for his hat. All right, now all I need to do is put my penguin together. I like to flip it over and give it a little massage so I know everything is stuck down really well. All right, guys, there is my finished snowy penguin.